Hello, everybody. This is Brian Baumgartner, otherwise known as Kevin Malone from The Office, and you are listening to BT Talks. This is going to be huge. That's what she said.
Live from the Launchpad in Huntington, New York, it's BT Talks. Presented by 915 Construction and Design, home of Handyman Express, and No Vacancy Live. Now, here's Brett Topel.
And welcome back inside BT Talks, presented by 915 Construction and Design, home of Handyman Express, and the No Vacancy Live podcast with Glenn Hausman. So great to have you with me this week. Sunday morning, February 27th. I am definitely getting used to these Sunday morning shows. It's daylight, that's for one thing, when I come and when I go. And it's nice to start off the day with a little bit of BT Talks. I'm really excited about my show this morning. I'm going to be joined by hockey player Ethan Werek. And to call Ethan a hockey player is really the understatement of the day. He is a Canadian-born Jewish hockey player who represented China in the Beijing Olympics just this past about 2 weeks ago. He just got back to Toronto very recently. Ethan's going to join us to talk about his experience over in Beijing and how it came to be that a Canadian Jewish hockey player represented China in the Olympics. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the cool things he's working on now. Then I'm going to play an interview that I did for a couple of years ago by actor-comedian Fred Stoller. And, I did this interview way back at the beginning of the original BT Talks baseball show, which meant about 5 to 6 people listened to it. So, if you don't know the name Fred Stoller, you certainly will know his voice when you hear it. So he's, of course, been on Seinfeld and Everybody Loves Raymond and King of Queens and so many great things where you just will know his voice. So we'll be joined by Fred. And then I'm actually going to have a third guest today before Glenn, and that's going to be Don McPherson. And we had some technical problems on the night that Donnie joined me. Don, of course, is a college football Hall of Famer. He is an author. He is a feminist. He is a thought leader. And I had a great conversation with Don just a couple of weeks ago. But like I said, a lot of people didn't get to hear that. So if you missed that, certainly want to stay tuned for that later in the show. Before we get going on the show, I always like to try to come up with a topic to talk about, and I don't really have one today, but I'll figure something out. One of the things I did want to talk about is, I don't watch any shows. Like when I say shows, I mean like on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu, and but I decided I was going to try to watch this new show, Single Drunk Female. Which looked interesting, and it airs on the actually it airs every Friday or Thursday, I think Thursday, on the Freeform network, and then it gets replayed on Hulu. So last weekend I had some time, and I binge watched. There's only been 6 so far. This week was the 7th, and I don't know if you can call it binge watching if you only watch 6, but I watched 6 straight episodes. They're only 22 minutes each. It's not that hard. 6 straight episodes of Single Drunk Female. I have to tell you, really like the show. I like the lead character. I like her mother, who is Ali Sheedy, who looks 100. But it's a really interesting show, and it's a lot of fun. I actually have not seen this week's show yet. I am looking forward to streaming that on Hulu, possibly later on today, possibly in my old time slot of 7 p.m. But one funny thing that happened was that after I'd watched the 6th episode, I was talking to a colleague about the show, and she told me that unfortunately the series is only 6 episodes. It's over, and it was really not her fault. When you looked up the show, it said season 1, 6 episodes. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they had misled their readers because there are 10 episodes, and they were just saying there had been 6 to that point. But when I thought that the show was over, I was so. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, oh my God, they're on the bus. They're on the way to New York City. What are they going to do? What's going to happen? She's got a big job interview coming up. So I think what I learned about myself And although I am happy that there are going to be episodes 7, which I will watch later today, and then episodes 8, 9, and 10, and who knows if the show will continue for another season. But what I'm happy to report is that I shouldn't be somebody who's watching shows. It is absolutely clear that I should not be watching shows, because if I get into the show, it's a problem, and then the show ends, and then I feel like I've lost part of my, part of who I am. So I think it's probably a good thing that I don't watch shows in general. I am watching this show. I'm looking forward to seeing the last 4 episodes of this show, and if it continues. If you don't know, the whole premise is she's a 28-year-old woman who's living in New York, who is a fall-down drunk, and she physically assaults her boss and gets fired and gets forced to go home to Boston and get sober. And it's really, really a good show. She's I don't even remember her name. Lynn. Nope. Don't even know the actress' name. She's a very cute actress. But she really is. You just like her. She's just very, very likable. And everybody on the show is actually likable. So Single Drunk Female, I can recommend. And then I'm done. Then I'm back to Shark Tank. Then I'm back to the old Law and Orders. Then I'm back to well, I was going to say watching baseball, but that's a whole nother thing. And that's a whole nother show. And hopefully there will be baseball, but there's no baseball right now. So I guess Shark Tank and Law and Order and My Lottery Dream House, which I've been watching recently. That I like. That I get, a half hour I have the attention span, but not much more. All right. Excited about today's show. I want to get to my interview with Ethan Werek, and which we're going to do right after this break. So hang on. We're going to do 60 seconds with 915, and we'll be back with Ethan Werek.
915 Construction and Design and Handyman Express have been serving Long Islanders for decades and are dedicated to providing customers with the highest quality work and overall customer service. From planning your job to making the final touch-ups, you'll experience the gold standard of home repairs and renovations. No matter how big or small your project may be, their talented and experienced contractors and handymen are prepared to take on the job. Whether you need to have them hang a picture frame, fix a faucet, or completely renovate your bathroom or kitchen, by calling 915 Construction and Design and Handyman Express, you can trust that your home or business is in good hands. Reach out today at 915cd.com or call 516-924-2400. 915 Construction and Design, home to Handyman Express.
Sail away with me, honey. Put my heart in your hand. Sail away with me, honey, now.
All right, welcome back to BT Talks, presented by 915 Construction and Design, home of Handyman Express, as you just heard. My first guest, I'm really excited to be speaking with Ethan Werek. Ethan just returned home to Toronto from Beijing, where he was competing for host China in ice hockey in the Winter Olympics. Ethan is a really, really interesting guy. He is a Canadian-born, Jewish-born hockey player who great-grandparents emigrated to China following World War I. So he was able to represent China in the Olympics. He was drafted by the Rangers in 2009. He's played for a bunch of NHL organizations and minor league teams and junior teams. Ethan, thank you so much for joining me right here on BT Talks.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. And first of all, congratulations on all your success, and congratulations on your return from the Olympics. And we certainly are going to talk about how you got to the Olympics and who you played for. But can you first just tell our listeners, what it was like and what your experience was like to compete on the Olympic level for representing China over in Beijing?
It was a great honor. Just to be a part of the whole Olympic community was really incredible for me. To see the other athletes, when in our village there was speed skating, figure skating, and a few other sports, but just to be around those, the best of those sports and see how they live, and just everyone's just such great people. It was a tremendous honor to be a part of it.
Ethan, your story is so unique, and I'm sure you've been asked about it a bunch of times. But when I read about it, I said, "Oh my God, I got to talk to this guy," because you are a Canadian Jewish hockey player who represented China, home country China, in the Beijing Olympics. I know how you got there and how that was possible, but can you share with us how you ended up representing China?
Yeah, I guess the Coles Notes version would be my great grandparents came to China from Russia just for better economic life and some business opportunities, and they were in Harbin, then Shanghai. My dad's two sisters, my two aunts were born in China, and then my grandparents with my dad, with two sisters moved to Israel, and my dad was born in Israel, and then they all moved to Canada. So I guess that's the quick version how I was eligible to be a part of the team.
And you've all of those things you've talked about. You've played for the Canadian team, representing Canada in junior championships and plenty of international play. And you also hold, if I'm not mistaken, Israeli citizenship. So every part of your history really was on display when you competed for Canada, I should say. Now, I know that they don't refer to you as Ethan over with your team, right? What are your teammates? They gave you a different name.
Yeah, well, I wasn't exactly sure how to pronounce it, whatever there was, but it's Werek. So I guess it's kind of close to my English name, but with a few different letters attached to it. And so on the back of my jersey, they had "way" at the stand. Yeah, it was. It's pretty neat. It was a really, really tremendous experience, and I've said it multiple times. It was an absolute honor representing China, and just to be able to be a part of the Olympics, and everyone I met in China. I lived there 3 years ago, and then just all the volunteer staff and everyone are just incredible people, and just so nice.
It had to be just a real pinnacle of your career. Of course, you were drafted in 2009 by the Rangers. You've spent time with so many different organizations, and obviously that tells me how passionate you still are about hockey. Talk a little bit about your career in that, there's never a team that you're not willing to go to, it seems like. I mean, it's got to be a pure passion for you.
Yeah, I do it. It was hard coming out of juniors to pro. I really, in junior hockey, you're kind of the top guy scoring a lot of points, and then the transition to pro for me was very tough, going from playing a lot of minutes to having to start at the bottom of the totem pole. And I feel like the first bunch of my career, my first 4 or 5 years, I really just held a grudge and didn't really perform to anywhere I was capable of. And I had some good advice later on around my 5th year pro, and I just fell in love with the game again and really saw things differently. So I have played pro hockey for a while now, but I'm trying to make up for the first couple of years where I just really could have done better.
I want to shift, but I wasn't. No pun intended. I wanted to shift because I know that one of the things that you're extremely proud about is to be not just a hockey player, but a Jewish hockey player. And I'm a Jewish man, and I was a Jewish boy growing up in New York, and there was never a lot of Jewish athletes, certainly not Jewish professional athletes, to look up to. I was fortunate enough to be able to have a conversation last year with San Francisco Giants manager Gabe Kapler about this as well. Yeah. And I just wanted to get your take on, it's really awesome in my mind that young Jewish boys and girls can look up to you and all you have accomplished. And how do you take that? And is that something you're conscious of?
I really haven't thought about it a ton. If people look up to me, I think that's an absolute incredible honor, and I really try to just strive to be the best person, so they have someone with good values and good integrity to look up to. But I love my Jewish heritage. I'm not kosher or anything, but I definitely do the major holidays. And but in juniors, when I played in Kingston, the billet family I lived with was kosher, and it was kind of cool. The mother Toby would make me pregame meal on Fridays, but it'd be a Shabbat pregame meal, with challah and everything, and the candles. So I'm very passionate about it, and I really this summer I'm actually going to Tel Aviv to help grow hockey in Tel Aviv in June, and going to play the Maccabi Games in July. And I really hope that I can just give back to hockey, because it's allowed me to meet so many incredible people, have so many incredible life experiences, and I'm indebted to hockey for the rest of my life. And anything I can do to give back to the game, I really would like to.
I'm going to go out on a limb, Ethan, and say you were the only player on your team who had a Shabbat dinner before the face-off.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Maybe in the league.
So tell me a little bit more about what you're going to be doing in Tel Aviv. It sounds like an exciting initiative. What's going on there?
They're growing hockey. So if anyone's been to Israel before, kind of sporting-wise, basketball is very big there, and soccer a bit. But the only hockey rink was way out in Metula, which is very far from really any dense population. So it was hard to pick up for kind of grow the game of hockey. But they've recently built a few rinks in the Tel Aviv area, and last year there was a group of guys that started a pro hockey league there. 1 month, the month of June, 9 or 10 games, and it was a way for Jewish kids with Jewish heritage to come over for a month, play really competitive hockey, and as well be able to see Israel. And they organize trips around, and it seems like I was contacted about it. It seems like an incredible opportunity, and just some really amazing people attached to the initiative. So through that, I've just been contacted by some other people about being able to bring hockey equipment to Israel, and be able to provide hockey equipment to kids that wouldn't know what even to buy or are not able to buy. So there's a lot of really cool initiatives that I'm going to be working on there, and just obviously living in Tel Aviv is an amazing experience in itself. So I'm excited for that as well.
I know. Of course, your father was born in Israel, and your great grandparents, as you mentioned, emigrated to China from Russia. And it really seems like you are making it a point, whether intentionally or not, or it's just working out this way, that you're really paying a phenomenal tribute to all of your ancestors, your great grandparents, your grandparents, your parents, and you're doing it through hockey, which is your first love, which has got to be really cool for you.
Yeah, it definitely was not planned. It was funny. A guy on my team, Brandon, we played together, and we're good friends. When I played in Phoenix's AHL team in Portland, Maine, and I think I was about 20 years old or 21 years old, and me and him were sitting at the Olympics, and we were talking. We go, 10 years ago, if we would have told each other we'd be in the Olympics, we'd think we're nuts. And then if we said we'd be playing for China in Beijing at the Olympics, we would institute each other. We're like, what are you talking about? So it's funny how the world works, and any way I can do to kind of honor my family, my heritage, with China and Israel. My grandparents were amazing people. My parents, I wouldn't be here without them. They've been so supportive through all my hockey career, and as you can see, there's a lot of stops on the way, and wherever I was in the world, they'd always make it a point to come visit me. And I just, again, want to just hopefully be a good person, and pay it back in any way I can.
Well, Ethan, listen, your story is tremendous. I wish you nothing but the best on all your future ventures in Tel Aviv and Canada and China, wherever they are, Brooklyn. Best of luck, and thank you so much for joining me today on BT Talks.